Now, though, yes, we left one game out because we're going to sit here and talk a little bit about the Detroit Lions and the Baltimore Ravens, where the Detroit Lions fell 19-17 on a last-second NFL record 66-yard field goal.
Well, what's worse is you were there. You and your brother were there in the end zone where the ball was coming right towards you.
Not right directly on. Let me be clear.
Right, you were off to the
I was off to the side,
but you were in that end zone.
I could turn my head just barely to the right, look right down at the goalpost when I saw, from my angle, first off, fun atmosphere. I loved being there. The stadium wasn't packed, but it was still pretty full. It was lively. It was great to see the crowd like that. And that second half was great. That crowd got into it. It was super energetic. The Lions clawed back, got the lead.
Yes.
And that atmosphere was great. It was nuts. It was so much fun.
Didn't look like anybody left that stadium.
No. Oh, thank goodness they didn't. Like, nobody left. Everybody who had shown up was still there. But then that last minute or so was pretty tough. But then obviously the field goal, because from my angle, it didn't look like that field goal was going to make it. My brother turned to me and he goes, "This would be a record. Like, he's kicking a 66-yarder." And I was like,
yeah.
Boy, I mean, they're obviously, you don't kick that unless you're confident and think that he can make it, or, so I was thinking, so there's at least a chance he could make it, but the whole time I'm like, there's no way he's going to make it. And for a split second, as that ball was coming through the air, it looked like, as soon as I saw it kind of dropping, I was like, oh God, it's going to be short. Thank God it's going to be short. Maybe just short, but it's going to be short. Then it hits the crossbar. And I was like, holy crap, it actually got to the crossbar, and then it bounced up, and I was like, thank God it's going to bounce out. Nope, it bounced towards the fans. Towards the net. It was in. You could just kind of hear the air get sucked out of the room, and I was just in awe. I wasn't even mad. I was just like, this just happened. This is the most Lions thing I've ever seen in person.
I was sitting at home watching that game, and when they said it was 66 yards, I just kept saying, he's not going to make this. It's going to be short. He's not going to make it. 66 yards? Come on. And I was just certain that it wasn't going to be long enough, and that we were going to get our first win of the season. And I was just, I'm
surprised
upset.
You still have a TV after that. I'm not going to lie. I thought there'd be a remote control lodged in the TV when we got back. I thought for sure you'd be, hey, boys, we need to go to Best Buy and buy a new TV tonight.
Well, there were several plays in that fourth quarter that are very suspicious. And to me, the officiating crew was not very good. There was one play where, I forget which Lion player it was, but he was running towards the goal line, and he leapt over a defending player, and he reached the ball out. And from the angle they showed on TV, it looked like the ball crossed the plane of the goal. And that should have been a touchdown, but they didn't call it. We didn't challenge it. 2 plays later, we actually scored, and they had to review it. And when I first saw it, I said, "Oh yeah, that's a touchdown." And then when I saw a certain angle, you could see that his knee was down before you. So that should not have been ruled a touchdown. And then there was the call or the no call, where it should have been a delay of game, but the refs didn't call that either. So there's just so many things. It's just add this to the list of cursed games that the Lions have had. So many times that the Lions have lost on the last play because the refs gave the team an extra play. Remember the one with Aaron Rodgers a few years ago where somebody, just maybe grazed his face mask with a fingertip, and they gave him an extra play on the last, with no time on the clock, and he threw a 75-yard
I'm gonna stop you right there.
No, you can't, man. I'm too pissed off. So many times there should be a video. I'm sure there's a video out there of all the times Detroit has been screwed over by the refs or some other.
Hold on, okay, let me run down the list.
Calvin Johnson,
I don't have it in front of me yet. Let's start with the Calvin. And I hate doing this.
Against the Bears.
Calvin Johnson's catch rule against the Bears, which was nullified. There's the batted out ball against the Seahawks, where Detroit should have got the ball back, but instead they gave the Seahawks a touchback. There was the 61-yard last-second field goal by this same kicker, Justin Tucker, in Detroit 8 years ago to win that game. There was the picked-up flag during the playoff game against the Cowboys.
Yep.
Then you had the Aaron Rodgers, like 1 or 2 Hail Marys he put up against us to finish the game before.
And even Brett Favre had a Hail Mary.
Well, I'm not going that far back.
I remember watching that one too, and that still upsets me.
But, I mean, everybody talks about how the Lions get jobbed on officiating, and they have. But for this,
end of story. You don't need to say any more.
But for this game, Hi, I'm going to be maybe the most hated Lions fan right now. I'm not going to blame officiating on this loss.
I hate you, son.
And yep, you and every other Lions fan probably. But I'm going to listen to me, Lions, fellow Lions fans, if you're watching this. Listen to me and listen to me good. Because you cannot blame the officiating on this game. No, you cannot.
And
because I turned and asked my brother, are the Lions playing just to kick a field goal right now? So at the end of the game, Lions have the ball. Ravens have 2 timeouts, first down. Lions run a 1-yard play, timeout. Okay, cool. I get it. You're causing them to waste timeouts, right? Second play, same thing. Ravens call the second timeout. You'd think, perfect. All you got to do is try to get a first down. You can run the clock down a little more. You're Detroit. Call that timeout. Get that field goal to win the game maybe. But no, they ran a third weak running play. It was now 4th and 8 or 4th and 6 or whatever it was at the time. And it was just like they didn't even try. That's what gets me. The coaching staff, I get it. They're a new coaching staff. But they did not try to at least get a first down so you can knock that clock down. And as we have learned, not even in just Lions games, no matter, you're facing Aaron Rodgers, you're facing Patrick Mahomes, if you're facing Tom Brady, you do not give that opposing quarterback over a minute to go. I don't care if they have 1 timeout, 2, 3, or no timeouts. You do not give them that time. And the Lions did that. That was that was the biggest thing right there.
That is true.
You kick the field goal, you go up. Sure.
They should have been more aggressive.
Congratulations, Detroit. You were up by 1 point with 1:05 left, but you're giving the ball back to a young Lamar Jackson who can run it and throw it. So on 4th and 19, guess who was not shocked that the Ravens threw that pass and got that first down?
That's true.
Me.
That's true.
Because that's what happens when you take the ball and give it to them with 1:05 left. That can happen. That's where my biggest beef was. Then on top of it, the 66-year, whatever. At the stadium, I didn't even see the delay of game. Whatever. That wasn't even on my mind. I was too busy watching what Lamar was doing. Then was really confused when he just threw the ball out of bounds. That alone, I was wondering, should that have been, I think in my head, I was thinking, should that have been intentional grounding? Like, he just threw it out of bounds.
I don't know. I think there was a receiver in that.
Whatever. Maybe there was. Again, I was at the game, heat of the moment. Then the field goal happens. And like I said, I wasn't even mad. I was semi-impressed. Like, wow, I was just here to witness the longest kick in NFL history. And on top of it going, we just lost on the stinking 66-yard. Like, we would be the team that lost on a last-second record-breaking field goal.
Well, this is twice.
I know, the second time. Tom Dempsey did it in 1970.
Yep. New Orleans over Detroit on the last play of the game, 60.
So whoever breaks the next record, guess what? It's probably going to be against Detroit. So, whatever. But no, so on top of that, I was at the game. And I also want to talk about Calvin Johnson was at the game. The other big story there was at halftime, Calvin came out, got his Hall of Fame ring.
Yep.
But the fans, and here's another thing, Detroit Lions fans, why? They booed Martha to Kingdom Come.
Not a classy move.
It was not classy. I get it. We're all frustrated with the losing, with being the punchline of the NFL jokes. It's frustrating. It really is. And everybody just automatically blames the Ford family. I'm sorry. Martha's been the owner for 4 years or whatever. Then she handed it to Sheila. Sheila's literally been the owner for about a year, less than a year. And you're blaming all your frustrations on these 2 ladies who had nothing to do with the previous losing, for decades. They have nothing to do with it. Leave them out of it. Has their family been the problem? I don't know. Maybe you could make that rationale, but I don't think it's fair to boo those particular owners during a ceremony that is supposed to be for one of your greatest players of all time. So I feel like the ceremony for Calvin was ruined, despite as soon as Calvin started talking, everybody cheers. Or anything pointed at Calvin, everybody starts cheering for him, letting the ownership know we care about him. So I'm wondering if a lot of that frustration was more with everybody saying pay Calvin that money, that everybody knows the issue. He wants the whatever money. And for whatever reason, I kind of, I heard Pat McAfee talk about it. The Lions can't just give him that money. Like, it's weird how that works, but there is a reason that they cannot just hand him money without it affecting the team's salary cap or whatever.
Right.
So there's a bunch of issues around it. So fans, let's just calm down. If Calvin, hey, be happy he at least showed up, and that he did say at least that he is going to be back at more events. He mentioned something to that regard, like he's going to keep seeing us. So just cool it.
Yeah, everybody knows it's kind of a touchy situation. He holds some animosity towards the Ford family for what happened when he retired. So already this was a touchy situation with Martha and Sheila there, and Calvin being there, and it just exacerbated the situation that the crowd just booed. And I saw a little bit of the video. I mean, of course, they didn't show it on TV. That whole halftime ceremony was not shown, but I did see. I think it was from one of the people in the press box.
Could have been. There was a lot of videos. There was a lot of videos of people booing, and I was just sitting there with my hand over my mouth, like, I can't believe we're actually doing that. Like,
yeah.
And it wasn't like a section. It wasn't half of the stadium. It was pretty much the whole stadium booing. Yeah. It was, like I said, I was disheartened, but at the same time, I get their frustration. So it's like, well, at least they're all in unison. They're all like on the same page. Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about it.
There's a history of that in Detroit. I know. I was at a game many years ago when it was just a few years after Barry Sanders retired, and a lot of people were upset with Barry. Yeah. Not the fact that he retired, but how he retired. That was a very bad situation when he retired. And a few years later, I'm at the game, and they throw up a graphic of Barry's new book that he just wrote about his career. And when that book went up on the screen, literally half of the stadium booed very loudly. People were still upset, years later. So there's a history of that in Detroit. It's not a pretty thing to see or to be a part of, but it's there, and you've got to move on from it.
I know, and I know we got to move on, but real quick, I guess I just want to mention, and then if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll throw up a couple of pictures from my. I got to see the bust of Calvin Johnson, which was pretty cool. I got my picture taken with the Calvin Johnson Hall of Fame bust, as well as Alex Karras's Hall of Fame bust. He had a ceremony prior to the game, which we had just missed. We kind of got to the game a little late, so I was like trying to rush to my seat while everybody else was getting food and drinks and go to the bathroom, whatever. I just went straight to my seat as soon as we got to the stadium. It said I got there for the tail end of it, finding my seat, but it was cool. They honoring him, and they had a video. I don't know if they had video. They definitely had a picture up on the video board, so it was nice. And like I said, other than the fact that it was a last-second loss on an NFL record kick, I had a good experience. I don't know if there's anything else you want to know. I mean, we talked about the booing. That was something we talked about it. But
yeah, well, it is what it is. It's Detroit. We're very passionate fans, and sometimes we don't always make the best decisions.
No, we do not.